having a blessed evening. I know I supposed to had went live on this topic, but I'm going live now. And this topic is really important because the Supreme Court just ruled on this porn, age age requirements for children, you know. Um the children have really easy access to porn on these major platforms basically. And that's because every time that you log on to these porn sites, they get money. These companies don't care about age. They don't care about certain things. That the age is there only to protect these companies. Uh, But what happened is what it leads to. It leads to a lot of sexual transmitted disease, a lot of sick, demonic, evil, twisted, barbaric, devil demon websites that's out there to lead the children to a different path that's really dark. Once the children have a taste of these sexual acts, it become addictive, and they just don't want to stop. And now they stuck between here and Hard Rock to talk about these porn sites. And to me, nothing's going to change because this is how they make this money. They make this money on these porn sites and on these major platforms where underage children, has access to this, and they shouldn't have access to this. Just like anything else is, you could smoke when you're 18, you could smoke, you could drink, and all this other stuff. So, if you look at most of these porn sites, you got to be 18 to sign up, and these children are allowed to swivel and use loopholes in order to check out these porn sites. And if you're a child, you got to go that hard to just look at porn. Is like you shouldn't even do that. And how they coming up with this? They because some of these porn sites, you don't even need ID. You don't even need ID. All you got to do is create a profile and say this and that in the email. And most of these children, they have that thanks to the digital world. Thanks to the digital world, where that everyone can form a fake profile and lie, lie, basically, and say that they 18 or they 21. And this is sad. This is sad. This is what's going on in our society. Is basically it's promoting. It's promoting. Somebody got to do the dirty work, right? Somebody got to do the dirty work. So, the reality to the fact is our children is up against a lot of forces, a lot of hidden things that's going on because basically they want your mind, body, and soul. So let me share a video with you. Basically, I want to share something with you. Hold on 1 second. Let's go back to CBS News legal contributor Tom Dupree on more cases coming out of the Supreme Court. Tom, what else are we getting right now? Sure. Well, the Supreme Court just decided one big case and punted on another. The one big case they decided was a challenge to a Texas law that basically imposed age verification requirements for people who wanted to access porn sites on the internet. The Supreme Court considered a First Amendment challenge. Basically, adults were challenging the law, saying that these age verification requirements infringed on their First Amendment rights to view content that they wanted to see on the internet. The Supreme Court reviewed the law and upheld it. They said the law was constitutional. They applied what's known as an intermediate scrutiny test, which was not the test that the challengers were arguing for. They wanted it to be reviewed under a more strict standard of review, but the Supreme Court applied an intermediate standard of review and held that Texas's law was permissible and survived constitutional scrutiny. The other case the Supreme Court just punted on was a challenge to Louisiana's attempt to redraw its congressional district maps. They had been... Okay. So pretty much you see what's going on. Basically, you had some adults up there that was fighting this.
And the reason why they fighting is because they now you're gonna have basically you're gonna need ID. You're gonna need more verification and more verification to actually see if you're 18, because so many children was you know is watching porn, running it up. This is an actually true fact. Yup, yup. This is an actually true fact. And this is allowed in our society. This is destroying our children mind, body, and soul. This is an actually true fact. And if we look at this, we look at this that this is is this is awful, and this is nasty, and it is just despicable. Why would you want to corrupt your child's mind? And this is all civilizations all around the world. And this is what's going on, that the people is allowed to do this, to run it up for fame, fortune, and riches. The more views that they get, the more you click on, the more money that they get. The longer that you watch these things, this is what's going on. And in the school, that you know, everybody's giving out condoms. They're giving out condoms to young children, already showing them about sex and stuff like that, prepping them and to use condoms, women condoms, and girls and young boys condoms. This is what's going on because sex is promoted. Sex is promoted. And what happened is that it's being promoted so much is that it become addictive, like a drugs. It becomes like a drug, and it's hard to get off. Because if you're watching these porn sites, it's hard to get off. So you become addictive to these porn sites. This is an actual true fact. Just like anything else, like drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, all of these other things that's played in our community, stuff like that. You become addictive to it. Always want to watch it, stuff like that. And then next thing you know, you slip up. You can pass a sexually transmitted disease to somebody, because majority on these websites, they don't use condoms. They don't use condoms on these websites. I think they go through some testing for HIV, for sexually transmitted disease and stuff like that or whatever. And they don't use condoms. They do not use condoms. So they are able to run it up. They are able to run it up. They want children. They want everybody, to tune in so they can keep getting money, man. Sex sells. This is what they said. Sex sells. And the ones that's purchasing it is our children. At the end of the day, is our children. We need a fresh mind. We need fresh thought. We need a fresh back. Right? This is what we need. That's right. We need a fresh back, fresh mind, and we need a fresh pair of organs, male or female. And it's sad, man, that this is being promoted in our community amongst the children. Who's being destroyed by this? Our children. Our children. This is why they're giving out condoms. Is because they know they're going to promote these sex sites and porn sites. That's why. This is why they're giving out condoms at a young age, because it's already indoctrinated in their mind to have sex, and not use protection on these porn sites. You see the cause and effect? The cause and effect is deadly. They're not telling you that somebody's going to end up dead, or somebody's going to end up with a lifetime disease that they can't get rid of. They're not telling you that. They're not telling your children that. They are telling them that in fine print, but the reality, the fact, if they tell people that, people's not going to do that. Some of these things, they just come on, you just start doing the act right there. You do the act. You jump right into it. No condoms, no nothing, no anything. And this is what they're doing. They're not practicing safe sex. So this is why they're going back and forth. Because the child's allowed to go on there and use fake ID, fake whatever, just to open a profile so they can do porn and have OnlyFan pages. That's another one. OnlyFan and all of this other stuff that's there. These are porn sites, man. You know, they're allowed to run it up. They're allowed to run it up. Email, you don't need no ID, you don't need nothing. You could make a fake profile. They don't care. That's why you need to, in order to get on these porn sites, that's why you should have ID. You should have ID basically. Because you could use everybody else name and say that I'm Joe Blow and I'm this age, but you really a child that's 10 years old, 8 years old, and your parents catch you over there watching porn. This is what goes on, man. They're allowed to do it. Are you 18? Once you say you 18, you answer all these questions. They don't care. Let's do it. Let's do it. So now you're not even practicing safe sex. So now you thinking that, this is your first time watching this. I don't gotta use no condom. You get your first girl, your first lady, you're impregnable because you're not being taught to use condoms. And forget the condoms. What about sexual transmitted disease that you cannot get rid of? These are the things that's really, really important that's not being talked about. Instead of talking about money, running it up, for views and shares and likes and fans, stuff like that. So that's what I want to share with you guys is that this is going back and forth. And watch your children. Watch your child. Make sure that in all of the electronics that you got parent guideline on that you lock everything and don't give them the password. Lock it. That's right. Lock it. Protect our children. You hear me? You lock it. That's right. Lock it away and throw the key away. You guys have an amazing evening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Peace, y'all. Peace. 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 Peace.